The other thing that jumps out is a team that is a physical team, and you know, it's not about the scheme. It's more about you know, a handful of plays that they get really good at, and then they give you some try to give you some problems with formations and how they you know, set the flank, whether it's tight, whether it's wide, some nasty splits, some things like that. And then the other thing that, you know, sticks out, Clement is by far the best back that we've faced. He's strong, he's physical, he's fast, great pick and slide behind the line of scrimmage. You know, lateral movement make you miss. The tight end, you know, 81. I mean, we know all about him from last year. You know, he's very much a presence there, and of course 15, which for whatever reason didn't see as much time as last week that he has. But I guess you know, there was a comment made by Coach Chris that guys that are banged up, and I'm sure they want to get guys like that healthy. I'm sure he'll be there for our game. But just a really well-coached team that plays very physical, that they're heady from the standpoint of how they use shifts, motions, and formations.
Their offensive lines always seem like they're highly thought of. Why are they so good every year?
Yeah, I mean, it's just you know, it's Wisconsin. When you think of Wisconsin, I mean, that's the first thing I always think of. I always think of big offensive linemen that just are really well schooled in the line fundamentals. And I'm not positive. I was more familiar with their previous line coach when Paul was the offensive coordinator there, and he was a hell of a coach. And I'm sure that they're just well coached, and it's a system. You know, I'm sure somewhere behind the scenes, though, Coach Alvarez is making sure that Wisconsin still looks like Wisconsin also. And they certainly do that, and again, that's part of Coach Chris' heritage too. They've always been good, and they continue to strive in that tradition as well.
With those pre-snap shifts and motions, where does that stress you the most as a defense?
Oh, you know, it's just a visual thing and a communication deal. You just have to have good communication, and you know that could be a distraction. Don't let it be, because from the tackle to the tackle, up through the center to the quarterback, it never changes. It's just all the window dressing on the outside, how it changes. And the other thing is, you know, again, for them, it's not about a bunch of plays. It's about certain plays, and you can only line up guys in a certain, because you want the right guys, you know, being a lead blocker. You want the right guys being a puller. You want the right guys releasing on pass and things like that. So if they just stood still, I mean, you could write down, you go, okay, when they're in this formation, that guy's in that position, that guy's in that position, you know, then you know what's happening from play to play. So they do that again to make you communicate, get you on the move, make your eyes soft, and again, like I said, from tackle to tackle, up through the center to the quarterback, it doesn't change, and that has to be our focus.
Coach, what have you thought about Derrick's play the past couple of weeks?
Oh, I thought it's been great. You know, more than his play, somebody asked that about 2 weeks ago about him, and you know, players like Josh is so instrumental in this past off season. He was one of those guys that, from the time we get off the plane at UCLA until today, has been one that has really held everybody accountable and held everybody to a certain standard, including himself. He's been kind of a bell cow with that, and others have followed his lead. Not to say others weren't out in front on that either, but emotionally and what he means, just when you see a guy like that in your presence, it's like, hey, okay, bandos, you know, that type of thing. So, and at that, now you put it on top of that. Physically, he's done a good job. You know, when we were playing so much nickel against all these wide open teams, like, you know, Northwestern, for example, you know, they were empty. And then as we went on, same thing. We were in more and more nickel passing situations, and we went in a different direction. But you know, with that said, he wasn't getting as many reps in the game. What did he do? He didn't sulk about it. He went to Coach Reed and said, Coach Reed, I want on special teams. Wherever you need me, I want to be there. And right now, I think, I want to say he's one tackle behind, or he could be leading by one tackle, everybody that's been on special teams all year. After what, two complete games, maybe 3 on special teams. So that says a lot for the young man.
Coach, can you talk about Wisconsin's quarterback, Honeygrove? What are your thoughts on him?
Yeah, I think that number one, the physical stature for a pocket passer. At the same time, they get him outside the pocket a little bit. But I mean, he is a freshman. He's played in some big environments already. LSU, he's played. You know, he played at Michigan. You know, he played at Ohio State, even though that was home. But you know, he's played in some big venues against some great competition, and he hasn't backed down. Maybe he hasn't performed the way that they want him to perform exactly, because I know he missed a bunch of throws in the Michigan game, and he even missed a couple last week. But I mean, hey, he's a freshman, and you wouldn't know it. But you know, we expect his best, and I'm sure that, you know, as you watch film, you go, oh God, overthrow here. Oh, you just say, hey, when he's against us, he'll complete everything, and I'm sure that's the case.
Did you see those teams throw a lot of different stuff at him because he was a younger guy and not a lot of experience, or did they kind of
I don't think a lot of stuff, but I mean, you know, Ohio State. I watched a little bit of LSU game, but LSU and then of course Michigan. I mean, their defensive lines are they're elite defensive lines. The one that sticks out in my mind is Ohio State. They bring in this 11 and 59, and oh my goodness, I mean, these guys are unreal. They're just in there to rush the passer. One's a tackle, one's an end, and on the other side they don't have chopped liver over there either. But and Michigan is just oppressive. I mean, they play man coverage all the time, and they've got some great guys up front. You know. And LSU, they always have horses up front. So they didn't have to do a whole ton of things. You know, they'd send a fifth guy every once in a while, but they got good pressure with their front four and played good coverage behind it. And you know, like Michigan, they were man free about you know, the whole time in the game. So you knew what the coverage was. Can't say the same thing for Ohio State. Ohio State, you know. Mix it up a little bit, but not a ton. You know, now I haven't studied third down as much right now. I mean, that'll be tonight that we'll do that, more of that. But I'd say that you know, it was just a good push and decent coverage for the most part, and didn't do anything to try to confuse. Because once again, their offense, like we were talking about, with the sets and the motions and the shifts, you know, if you're going to be a little bit exotic and zip and zap here and there, you better make sure you can cover down versus some of those sets that'll give you some problems.
Is he maybe the fault to that, Mark? Is he, even though he's a freshman, is he pretty far along? Haven't seen something?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, he. It's not like he doesn't know where to go with the ball. It's not like he doesn't know how to, you know, hand the ball off or whatever. I mean, he manages the offense okay. I think it's just total execution right now. But he's getting better every game, and then. It won't be him alone. I mean, they're going to bring in the senior. There'll be no doubt about that. And now he's a righty, so therefore when they do things out of the pocket, sprint, roll, run their nakeds, they'll go to the you know, the arm of the quarterback. So that'll be a little bit different. So we got to be aware of that. And the senior has more zip on the ball, whether that's just arm strength or just maybe confidence. I don't know, but that's what's on the film. That's nothing negative versus either one or positive. That's just what we see on film.
You're expecting to see that.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think they'll both play. Yeah, I think they'll both play.
When they do pass it,
If they have to pass the ball.
when they do pass it, they have a lot of success going vertical. How do you use the linebackers and safeties to kind of neutralize that?
Well, first of all, if you're a safety or you're a corner, you need to cover the vertical route. I'm not sure what the linebackers use. You know, their drops in coverage, if they're supposed to collision a receiver or what have you. I mean, they'll all be a part of it. Yeah, I mean, you know, if there'll be some times that the back will cover the tight end and things like that. You know, we did a decent job playing man coverage last year on him. So, you know, it's just a matter of just playing our defense and everybody executing and getting pressure from the front four. And if we need to add a fifth or sixth rusher, we'll have to do that.
Coach, you look at these two defenses on paper, pretty even statistically, but a lot of the talk maybe is on how good Wisconsin's defense is. Do you feel like your group's overlooked at all coming into this game?
No, not at all. Not at all. You know, I think our guys are very workmanlike, very conscientious. You know, we don't deserve any more talk about us than the next guy. I mean, we give up, you know, a couple big plays in that game and made it a game shouldn't have been. So, I mean, we are who we are right now, and when the time comes, you know, if people, you know, talk about us a little bit more, that's okay, and I'm okay with that because I mean, then all of a sudden you just hear all this chatter, and I'd rather have them keep telling these guys they're terrible or something like that. I don't know, you know, just stay hungry, keep working, get better, and bottom line is let's win the next game. Let's do whatever it takes.
You mentioned being workmanlike. Is that a big reason behind a lot of the improvement this year on the side of the ball?
Oh, I think it's a bunch of players that have really good work habits that play together and play for each other and have a desire to win, and that's I think that's the bottom line. Okay.